Africa. And I truly believe that startups are what is going to change the landscape of Africa. And that's why I'm super proud and I'm super happy to be part of what we're doing here today. So great to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Ayo. Thank you so much. And I think also just talking to the teams, you know, it can be quite nerve-wracking, I feel, to be pitching, yes, but then pitching in front of like a very distinguished group of judges. Blessings, we can move on to the next judge. Perfect. Mama Roque. Okay. So Mama Roque is a very, very interesting and lovely woman, but I think I'll start with her bio. She is the executive chairperson and founder of My CFO, which is actually a company based in South Africa, and it collaborates and partners with professionals and corporates basically to accelerate SMEs, but then also provide them with the sort of chief financial duties that they would need completed. She holds a higher diploma in audit and in accountancy as well. And Mama Roque is an absolutely amazing, amazing person. Mama Roque, would you like to introduce yourself better?
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that introduction. And thank you so much for this invite. One is excited about the prospect of the possibilities that exist in our continent, and I'm looking forward to hearing what other entrepreneurs in the continent are thinking and what they envisage the continent to look like in the future. I'm a CA by profession. Qualified many years ago. I have been a CFO and a head of finance and financial services, and then I was also an audit partner. And 8 years ago, I then started the business My CFO because I realized that there's a need to be able to support an entrepreneur, and I see that that's also a role that has been identified as very critical for the success of entrepreneurship in the program. And when I started at the time, the topic of a CFO for an entrepreneur was very foreign. And we have been pushing along, and 8 years later, we have quite a lot of either outsourced CFOs or virtual CFOs for SMEs, and that is an exciting time to be in, to start seeing that that is being taken into account when we start businesses. And then for us at My CFO, and for me as a group CEO, what's important is to advocate for the coherent and actually understanding of the ecosystem, of an entrepreneurial ecosystem and their journey. And we basically create products and innovate around financial management and improving that for SMEs. And lastly, we want to always empower. And we also do training to make sure, and it's training around business finance, to make sure that entrepreneurs get the best in terms of understanding holistically what drives their business, and actually also help them map their journey for acceleration, mainly to survive the first 3 years. And thereafter, we believe that we need to start helping people craft journeys towards value and wealth creation. And that's us in a nutshell. Thank you for that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mama Roque. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, now we have Just. I think, Just eBay is just a ball of energy. I think, yeah, you're going to see her on the screen. She'll talk about herself. But Just eBay is actually the lead consultant of the Just eBay company. She's the co-founder of Inscribe Tech. In 2019, she helped and worked with 1,500 startups across the world, helped them mostly in the area of revenue and sales generation. And now she's on a mission to help 20,000 businesses and startups. She's an MBA student for South Wales, based in the UK. She's a sales guru. I think this is very, very true. And also the president of the African Association of Startups. So just come and talk about yourself. I know you're going to just bring the whole house down.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Edith. Thank you, Feroz. And good afternoon, everyone. I don't know what time zones we're all in, but good afternoon, everyone. My name is Just Ibe, and I'm the president of the Association of African Startups. We recently founded the association because our goal is to create an ecosystem and raise the entrepreneurs that will rebuild the African economy. And so what we decided to do is identify all the different gaps that startups have in Africa, especially because of the peculiarity of our market, then create solutions to bridge those gaps by way of different curriculums that we have created around this area. And so aside doing that, one of the other things that we have done is create a methodology that allows startups in Africa to be properly celebrated for the work that they do. Most startups fall off the bandwagon because the light is usually shown on successful people without emphasis on the journey people go through in building successful businesses. That's why you find an average startup starts in the next 6 months, 1 year, nobody's paying attention, it dies. But once there's a track record of people saying you are doing great work in this specific sphere of influence, let's shine the spotlight on you, we'll find that the average African person will dare to want to dream, will dare to want to do. So we're creating that ecosystem of startups who would look at what it is they have, no matter how small, but can see how that small thing can become a tool for economic transformation. And throughout all the things that we're doing in the entire Association of African Startups, we have all of these things embedded in. My ultimate goal is to see that in 2030, Africa becomes a continent that is admired, loved, and, for lack of a better word, want to be immigrated into by other continents in the world. And I believe that the startups have what it takes to revolutionize this economy. And that's why we're pouring everything we have and can do into the startups in Africa. And Edith and Feroz, I want to say a very huge thank you and well done for what you do here. I don't take it for granted because I believe that so many of us have been commissioned with the mandate to rebuild the African ecosystem. And we're just doing it in our different silos. But I like when things like this happen because it just goes to show that the burden that you otherwise see, somebody else is doing their own bits in different spheres of influence. So well done, and thank you for flying the flag so high. I know that our motherland is grateful to you and grateful to every single one of us who is on this panel today.
Thank you so much, Just. Thank you. Oh, when she speaks. The next person, not the final judge. The next judge we have is Nasir. And Nasir has a very heavy profile, I would say. He is the CEO of Loft, based in Luxembourg, House of Financial Technology. So I think this is very fitting for him. He's also on the non-executive board for SEB and sits on the IMF's high-level advisory group on finance and technology. He is included in the top 40 innovators shaping the future of financial services 2014 by Wall Street Journal. So Nasir, take it away. Take it away.
Hi, hello everyone. Hi Edith, thank you very much for that introduction. I'm very, very glad to be here. The Loft, the Luxembourg House of Financial Technology, we are sort of Luxembourg's principal platform for digitalizing the financial services sector. Amongst that, we focused on a variety of different areas, but principally what some people don't know, but is a fact, that Luxembourg is the world center for microfinance funds, so servicing financial inclusion across the entire continent of Africa. And as part of that, we ourselves have been running a financial inclusion program for startups for the past 3 years, where we bring in around 12 to 14 companies from Africa for a week-long intensive bootcamp to Luxembourg, and have had some huge stars come out of that program in the past few years. Maybe a little bit more about myself. So I've worked in financial services for about 25 years now. I spent the majority of my career in traditional banking, in capital markets, in the trading arena. I was last time I had a proper job, so to speak, I was the head of high frequency trading at Royal Bank of Scotland in London. I started setting up businesses about 10 or so years ago. I built a bank, I built a variety of lending companies, payments companies, some of which I've sold, some of which have just been a learning experience and haven't done so well. I've lived and worked in around 9 countries now, across Europe, Asia and Africa, Asia and North America, sorry, not Africa quite yet. I'm a Sloan Fellow from the London Business School and did my undergraduate degree at the London School of Economics. And I'm very, very excited to see what's going to be on offer today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Afir. Thank you so much. Now we have Tessie. Oh, okay. So Tessie, I will try and do her justice, but I'm not sure how well that will go. She is a proud mother of 2 royal princes. She's a humanitarian and a businesswoman. She holds an honorary doctorate in global education, an MSc International Studies and Diplomacy. She's the co-founder and president of Professors Without Borders. She's the founder and director of Finding Butterflies, Consulting Limited, and she is co-founder of Human Highness. I actually met Tessie. I think Tessie knows Ariel from Africa when we were literally a baby company, when we were just an idea. Like, she met us in the beginning of everything. So Tessie, I think, has been fortunate, so to speak, to see our growth and development over the last 2 years. But Tessie, talk about yourself. I know I cannot do you justice.
Thank you so much, Edith. Well, it's as you rightfully said, I met you and Farouz in London when I was speaking for International Women's Day at a panel at your university where you were doing your master's at the time. And you were pitching Ariel for Africa to me. And you said, I would love to have your help and, mentorship. And that is how our friendship really started. And since then, I have been following your journey with great excitement, because you really have accelerated in such an incredible way since when we talked to what you are actually today. Because when we talked, there were so many components lacking still that you have now just, it's a real full product now. And I'm really, really proud of you, dear Edith, what you have done so far. And it's a great pleasure to be here with you today. So as you said before, we met there because mentorship and helping entrepreneurs, especially young people, especially young women around the world, has been a passion of mine for the last decade. I have hundreds and hundreds of mentees from all over around the world that write me letters. I got pitches, I got messages on all my social media channels and so on. And I really take the time to help where I can to each and every one of them. So this is a great pleasure to be here today to hear 4 possible new startups for Kenya, which I think is fantastic. The African continent has always been one of my favorite continents to be. With Professors Without Borders, we are in 5 regions on the African continent. And I myself have been teaching there in Sierra Leone, for example, with Professor Borders on institutions, but also have been working there with UNAIDS, where I'm the Global Ambassador for Women for HIV/AIDS in South Africa with Prince Harry. I have had the great pleasure to work as well on the African continent with Finding Butterflies Consulting, as you said, which is a strategic consultancy which works on really helping corporates, governments specifically, and institutions to get away from that greenwash, that green filtering, and actually put some proper impact strategies at the core of their business models. So that has been fun. But as an entrepreneur, you know, there's ups and downs also with my other business, Human Highness, and the other businesses that Frank, my partner, which he will introduce himself as well, who has joined us today last minute. And I really wanted him to be here because he is a great inspiration for me. We have a few businesses together and has been a really successful entrepreneur himself, but he will talk about himself in a minute. So yeah, no, it is really a great pleasure to be here with you all today. I think what you're doing is timely and we need more of these hackathons, as Nazir said. And that's why I'm so grateful that Nazir takes the time today as well to be here today. He's a friend of mine from Luxembourg, and he has actually introduced me to the concept of these hackathons at the Loft in Luxembourg. So that's the first time I actually experienced such types of pitching where human beings pitch their ideas. And it was specifically as well for African, as he says, for African startups in Luxembourg. And when you came to me, Edith, and saying, this is what we're going to do you want to be a judge? I said, yes, but we need Nazir because he's incredible. And he has, for me, been such a champion already within that cause and within that entrepreneurship mentorship since I can think of that concept. So I'm just really happy to be with you here today. And I give the word now to Frank, which I want to also introduce himself.
Okay, hello everybody. Well, my name is Frank. I'm a serial entrepreneur, studied electrical engineering a long time ago at ETH in Zurich. Founded my first company while I was studying. It's a junior enterprise at the ETH called ETH Juniors. ETH, the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. Then I started the journey as a serial entrepreneur. I'm right now on company number 4, I think. I started and ran temporary staffing companies for students. We did call center services and sales forces. I was in the blockchain space. We were in the family office space, where I ran a multi-asset class family office. And now basically investor, and I also do some CEO coaching of some of my investments. I happy to give my thoughts and all the mistakes I make, try to have the younger guys not to make them again. So I'm coaching some younger CEOs, and we do investments also, private equity and venture in the blockchain space, fintech area. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tessie, for bringing him. Honestly, it's just like, it's amazing to meet you. And Tessie, as always, it is a pleasure. So proud of you for all that you do. The final judge, I believe, Blessings. Is there? Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Oh, the pitches. Okay. We have 2 additional judges. Tessie has brought on her partner, and it's such an honor to meet him and to now get to know what he does more of. And we also have Edwin. Edwin, you can feel free to jump in and introduce yourself, if you please. Yeah, there we go.
Hello, everyone. So, where do I start? Born and raised in London. I've been working in Africa for the last 10 years. My background is lottery and telecommunications. I worked with MTN for about 5 years. And then I moved to Kenya in 2016. And again, working in the telecom space. So I think what Edith is doing is amazing. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Edwin. Edwin has been such a big supporter for us for the past 1 year, honestly. He's gone to the moon and back for Ariel for Africa, and we really celebrate him. He was a judge for our pilot program, so I think he knows how to do this piece of it, and how to handle all of this. So again, judges, the pitches are starting. We're going to start with team 1, okay? So team 1 can start getting their slides ready. I believe Just is the only judge that wasn't on here when I talked about the link. So Just, I'm sending you in the chat box the voting link that we are using. I sent it to you directly on the chat. I think I'll do that for all of the judges. I'm sending you the voting link. So as you're listening to the pitches, use that link, select the team, right? So if it's team 1, this is team 1. You click team 1, you put your, you select yourself as a judge, and then you vote according to all the different criteria that we've put in. So I've sent, I'm sending it to all the judges again, just because I know that some of these have moved down in the private chat box. So you'll get it from me there. I believe it's Michelle who's pitching for this team, if I'm incorrect or right.
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Michelle, you're there, you're ready.
Yep.
Ferouz, is there anything else that?
No, I think, Michelle, do you have your slides up?
Yes, so I should share my screen,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Great.
You should, yeah. So Blessings, if you can take it down, let Michelle share it. Michelle, just to give you a little bit of kind of guidelines, you'll be given only 6 minutes. You will be muted by the time your 6 minutes is up if you don't manage to finish by 6 minutes. And then we will proceed to Q&A, and Edith will facilitate that together with the judges. So the judges will be given around 4 to 5 minutes to ask Michelle and her team any questions that you may have. Team 1, it's up to you to decide whether you want Michelle only to answer all the questions, or if you want to jump in and also answer on her behalf with her. And by minutes 11 or 12, we should be transitioning to team 2. Is that clear, Michelle?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. So I will give you a go, and then you will start. Let me know when you're ready. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm good to go. So hi, everyone. My name is Michelle. I'm representing our company, which is called Mwanamke Savvy. Now, for the non-Swahili speakers, Mwanamke is Swahili for woman. Savvy is, of course, an English word. So we've sort of corrupted, 2 words. Savvy is someone who is up to date with information, trends, practices, insights, name it. So our company name is Mwanamke Savvy, and you'll find out soon why. So as a company, our vision is to empower each and every African woman through the use of technology. And we believe that the easiest, fastest, and most effective way to do this is to create this access through phone financing initially, and then work our way through additional technological devices, which we'll talk about a bit later. So I'm sure you've noticed by now some of the visuals on our presentation are, focusing on sort of women in food and agriculture context. Yeah. So this is just because, as we know, agriculture is the backbone of Africa. And according to the Global Fund for Women, women actually contribute to 80% of food production within the African continent. And so it would be remiss for us as a company not to have, to notice the importance that, women and agriculture play or would play in terms of running our business model. So as I said, we intend to do this initially through access to smartphones. That is specifically to provide financing to women to access smartphones, women and women-owned businesses, because we believe through smartphones, because of the nature of the fact that they are small and nimble, that they can access this information as well as all other insights easiest. Other tech devices that we are looking on, so our minimum viable product, I should just mention, is smartphones, but other devices that we are looking at in the future could be tablets and maybe solar TV kits. So moving on to how we differentiate ourselves, we do know, I'm sure most of us have read that Safaricom has recently launched a similar product where they are financing phones, of course, not specifically to women, but to all members of the public. But what would make we plan to do it differently, and how we plan to do it is not only to offer the financing, but first and foremost, also to use this as a platform with which we can share specific insights, be it financial literacy that can empower these women business insights. How better can they run their businesses? If it's a woman who runs a small, maybe vegetable shop in her village. Another differentiation factor is we hope to create maybe some form of app which will be on the smart device, which can assist the women as well as their businesses in better record keeping. So be it a budget planner, be it how to record their revenues as well as their expenses, to get more visibility into how to improve their businesses. Another very unique selling point of ours is we plan to have a flexible payment plan where we are not setting that someone must pay daily. We plan to be very open in terms of through discussion and close consultation with our client, understanding their financial capabilities, and then working a payment plan around that. So very customized. And then we also plan to have financial consultations. This goes hand in hand with the first point I talked about, business insights. If someone is having trouble with how to create a budget for their small business, then we plan to have a call center outfit where they can call in and just make general consultations. And then we plan to add also, as part of this device, we do recognize the importance of internet access. And so we plan to include, as part of the pricing, and the product, a daily bundle package, a daily internet bundle package, which they can use whether to communicate via WhatsApp or, search for information on the internet. Then in terms of feasibility, or just a basic overview of what I would call our business and operational plan. So in terms of marketing, how we plan to capture our market is, first of all, I would say through some of the conventional ways. So a bit of social media, Facebook, but we do recognize the importance of conventional channels. That is TV, specifically TV and vernacular TV and vernacular radio. So running our adverts there, and then also having road shows. Ground presence is very important because we plan to first start, I think I need to mention, we plan to first start in Kenya and sort of work our way to other African countries, hopefully. And then we will have posters in shops and in shopping centers, in phone shops as well, electronic shops. We will have barazas. Barazas are basically like group gatherings. These are very popular in rural settings, as well as exhibitions where people can come and learn more about our offering. And then as a phase 2, we plan to introduce a customer referral program where because our financing will be for a 12-month period, we finance your phone for a maximum of 12 months.
Hi, Michelle, that is time. So now we will move on to the judges.
Perfect. Sorry, Michelle, when the time is there, it's there. The mute button happens, don't worry. I think she can be unmuted now for the judges. Are there any judges with questions for team 1?
Yes, we do have a question.
Perfect.
Do you want to?
Well, I'm not sure if I got all the information. So what is the MVP, the minimal viable product? How is that going to look like? Oh, now you have to.
Michelle, you're muted.
Yes, so the minimum viable product for now is phones financing, only because that is the easiest entry point. Almost everyone is familiar with a phone, I believe, within the African continent. And so they currently have the feature phones, yeah? But we're trying to introduce them to technology. And we believe the easiest and fastest way is through the use of a smartphone. Later on, as a phase 2, this is maybe after 1 year of operation, we'll then go into other technological products such as tablets, solar TV kits, and so on. So we're going to focus on the phones for the first year.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Where will the money come from to provide the financing on a large scale?
Okay, so here's the part. The winning team, right, based on how well they carry out this idea, will be given all the funding for this. So they're competing to be selected to be the team to set up the phones and devices on finance.
Okay.
So that's on, yeah, that's on our end. Yes, yes.
Edith, if I may say, I mean, funding for a company to be built, having built several credit businesses, the funding is to fund the operations of the business. It shouldn't be to fund the debt financing. That usually comes from banks.
Yes.
What we usually do is borrow money from banks and then re-lend that money out. So I was wondering if they've given some thought to that at all.
I'm not sure what their plan is, but I would have suggested the same thing. So the starting off capital is what is covered for them. But in terms of how they choose to run on a payback basis, that is for them to figure out, which I'm not sure if they can do in a hackathon.
Yes,
the
I was
six
gonna say the same.
probably supports them as they get better advice on this from mentors.
Yeah, so we're just gonna refine our funding strategy. You know, should we make it to the next round in terms of debt, equity, and so on? Yeah.
Okay.
So just to add on to the question, because the funding part was the question I would have had. However, I suppose since you didn't have a chance to go beyond what you had prepared, are you able to just give an overview of what the sales and the net profits you're looking to generate in that 12 months in the life cycle?
Once again, didn't quite go into that during this session, but just to give you an idea of sort of how we would approach it. Of course, a lot of research would be involved in terms of obtaining, first of all, our total serviceable market, our total obtainable market, then our serviceable market, and sort of zeroing in, finalizing on our pricing, sort of to see the potential, as well as the expenses, including, as you say, cost of funding, if they're depending on what our strategy is. And then, yeah, work on sort of, I would say for a start, a 3-year financial plan.
May I ask another question?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need to finance phones specifically? Kenya has one of the highest rate of smartphone penetration in all of Africa and the highest level of internet usage. So it seems as though the market is fairly strong and people are able to afford these phones. So what added value would there be in terms of providing this financing to this particular market of women in need?
Would someone else from my team be willing to take that? Maybe the marketing, sales?
Yes, I'm Humphrey from Team One. Okay, the ownership of the smartphones in terms of penetration actually is mostly not well penetrated to the small-scale vendors and vegetable. For example, vegetable vendors. We call them mama mbogas because they usually don't own smartphones because of their standard of life. So in this case, we are targeting them because most of them really don't have smartphones and they are mostly focused on feeding their families, and smartphones are not usually their top priorities. But in this case, we are targeting them because we want them to expand and also raise their standards of living. Thank you.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Because of the niche you're trying to sell, these people have no credit record. They probably have no records in the system. How do you ensure that they're going to pay back this money? So you're not just starting a business up on credit and you still don't even understand how to get your money back.
Yes. Am I muted? Oh, that's a good question. So there's 2 ways to look at this. First, as part of our, what I would say, the onboarding, where we would, the client onboarding, where we are going to have a rigorous side-by-side credit appraisal system where there's the collection of data to sort of understand what kind of individual we are dealing with. This is before we give them the loan. And then we're gonna feed that into a credit scoring tool that will come up with a credit score, and also a decision on whether or not we should lend, to each applicant. Now, in terms of how the collections are going to be carried out, we plan to have also some field forces who will be on the ground to act as not only sort of the people who market, because I think I didn't get through to our operational business plan. So we're going to have also our own network of people who are not only marketers, or I'll call them agents, but would also act as collectors. And that is for customers who are maybe going to, in terms of delinquency or loan delinquency.
Okay.
So it's a mix of field network, and then also really enhancing the onboarding or the credit appraisal process.
If you would allow me, add just a little more.
Time is up. Just we can't take more questions.
Okay, that's
time is up. Yeah. So we have to move on to the next team now. Team 2, I think Stefan and Phyllis will be presenting. Thank you, Team 1. Thank you, Michelle, for a wonderful presentation. And you've seen the questions, and based on that, judges will deliberate. So now we have to move on, because we will stay here the whole day if we keep asking all the questions, but we have also time for Q&A. So that's about it for Team 1. Team 2, Stefan is ready. Are you ready to share your screen, Stefan?
Yes, I am.
Perfect.
Just a minute, let me share my screen.
Will you be pitching alone, or Phyllis will join you in?
Phyllis will join me in. Just want to give a brief introduction of what we've done and
perfect.
Outline the important points. Then after that, also Phyllis is going to take over. So hi guys, I'm representing group 2, and just the same, we were using the same concept of hand phone, but this time we're trying to bring in something new, like an add-on service that can push for the hand phone handsets and bring in a revenue for our company. So first, the idea we finance mobile devices for low-income women. And by this, we are trying to solve a problem where we're going to improve the women healthcare and finance, and also give them financial empowerment. How are you going to achieve this? What we're going to do is come up with an insurance plan that is going to ensure we give a good and improved maternal and neonatal health and general health for the women in Kenya. And we're going to do this by giving them smartphones where they'll be able to subscribe into our platform and paying for the insurance and premiums on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. This is going to be done through the handsets which we are going to provide to them. And we are going also to make sure that all our apps are pre-installed in these handsets that are going to be sold. And we are also going to make sure we have teams on the ground who are going to do market activation when all these handsets are being sold. And after that, different way we were thinking we are going to bring in money. That is after we are going to partner with telecommunication providers. The reason being is that, like you guys had mentioned earlier, the internet penetration rate in Kenya is high, but unfortunately, it's not the case on the ground, because so many people don't know actually how to use the smartphone. So we thought it was necessary also to include USSD codes, which will be one of the way of subscribing to our services. While you are in Mashinani is your way far from internet, or you don't have access to the web. So that's how we were going to do it. Then the marketing was going to be divided into 3 different areas. So we were going to do the normal conventional marketing, which we're going to use social media platforms, TV and radios. Then apart from that, because we're going to partner with the telcos and the insurance firms, we are going to use the telcos one to send blast SMSs to all our the subscribers so they can be able to get on board to our services. And we are going to also use public and private hospitals as we are going to use posters which are going to be in all the public and private hospitals. So our operations, we are going to need to set up an office, to set up USSD codes, which are going to be used in areas where there is no internet. We need the human personnel and also the marketing channels. Then our sales strategy was simple. We are going to partner with the insurers, just want to bringing out to the women, tell them maternal and neonatal care is very important to them, and how this is going to benefit them. So this one is going to be done through the insurance, and also we are going to do this to our distribution channel, which will be the Google Store and also the RS Marketplace. And apart from that, being like a long form of business, we are going to make sure that every time someone is getting on board, we're going to partner with the Credit Reference Bureau, who are going to look at their previous loan history, just to make sure whoever we are giving the loan will be able to pay. And apart from that as well, we are going to have flexible and flexible repayment periods where one will be able to choose what will be flexible to them and which day or week or month will be flexible for them to pay in for their loan. So we are going to get money from phone sales. How we are going to achieve this, we are going to directly to the phone manufacturers. That means we'll be getting them in bulk, meaning we'll be getting good offers and we are getting good discounts. Apart from that, also we'll be partnering with every insurance provider in Kenya, meaning they'll be giving us their products at a commission based, and also we'll be looking at tailoring different insurance products just to fit the women category only. So from that, I'll let Phyllis take over, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll just complete the last portion of the presentation where we just wanted to talk about why us. We had a team of 4 members, as outlined, Steven being the managing director. He has had experience of leading organizations in adverse conditions, multinational operations, and business unit growth. And he's also quite astute and has operational acumen extended to analyzing financial and operation key impact and delivering results. Harriet has a vast experience in the insurance industry, and you see we're dealing around the medical insurance, and that would really come in handy, especially being the Chief Business Development Officer in this case. Thirdly, we have myself, Phyllis, as the CFO. I have had 5 years experience in finance and investment industry and able to even come up with financial models. And
sorry, Phyllis, that is time. 6 minutes, I know it's very short. So now we will head over to Edith with the Q&As. Do any of the judges have any questions?
I do.
Great.
Hello.
Well, mine's a question and a comment, actually. I like the idea of the insurance product being involved in there. Have you not considered basically using the revenue from the insurer, because the insurance company makes money on the insurance product, you're the distributor for that insurance product through the mobile phone. Just as any distributor, you can take a cut because you're the salesperson. Why not use that money to subsidize the cost of the phone? Therefore, you become more competitive and compelling to the customer market.
Yes, we had that in mind.
That would be a great offer because you'd be cheap.
Yes. Yeah, we had that in mind, and we were thinking when we were going to the next step, these are the things that we are going to look at when we have time. So right now, it's something that we had discussed with the team. And actually, even it wasn't a commission based. We were looking at getting a cut because we'll be giving the insurance a customer base, which that means they'll be having a pool where they'll be able to make money as well. So us, what we were going to do, we were going to take that money and plow it back. But that is based on whether this pitch is going to move forward into the next level.
Yes, I would look at using a way to create a USP, and you can create a USP by not just offering insurance, but other financial products. And your distributor costs for those products can subsidize the cost of the phone so that you can sell it to the customer cheaper, and therefore it's a very compelling offer and also very inclusive as well. Yeah.
That's noted. Thank you.
Stefan, I think Team 2, your presentation is really good. I think one thing which has really caught my eye is the fact that you've decided to go down the route of doing subscriptions. Just from my background a little bit, we did a lot of subscription services for MTN, and it's a great way to keep customers on board. And I think the health side as well is clever. And I think through your presentation, you said something about offering other products through Google Play, but I definitely think your subscription model is definitely the way forward. The question which I had was, what kind of devices would you be offering them in terms of price range?
Yes, that was very critical on this. We were looking at the best case scenarios actually in Kenya. We are looking at price range between 2,000 Kenyan shillings to 4,000 Kenyan shillings. These are mid-range, but smartphones. So we have a couple which are already in the market, and we're also looking at the functionality of our application and the web-based platform that we are going to deploy. So we are looking at a price range around, that's probably around $20 to $40.
Okay, quick, just one point. Actually, two questions. Why would you pick such a cheap smartphone with such an innovative idea, one? Secondly, do you know who are the best paying people in Kenya in general? In terms of, you know who are likely to pay back?
Yes. So let me first answer the first question. The reason why we went for that mid-range one is one, all these guys and the middle income earners and the sort of the low income earners as well. The smartphone is not quite a priority for them. So for us, we thought it would be best if we give something that one would be, one, it's very affordable for them, and two, it will be easy for them to repay during the long-term period. And from the case study, like I said, that you just looked at, is that most of the people who tend to pay back their loans are women. So this is a study that was carried out in Kenya, and it's all women have the ability of paying back their loan. And also we realized there is a very huge default rate on students who are in campus. And since this product was not geared towards them, we thought, well, if the women can pay their loans and this product is geared towards them, they are our target market, then why not move with them? And that's why we decided we're gonna stick it between $20 to $40.
Okay, so my question, sorry, is if women are the best paying customers, why would you offer them such a low end product if they're the ones who you know will pay you back on time?
Again, like I said, like I said, it's all about also being able to afford whatever you are willing to pay back. So if I'm willing to pay back 4,000, and I'm sure that's what I'll manage to pay at the end of the month or end of the week, I'll be very comfortable if I take a smartphone ranging within that price range. So for me, if I go out, I want to buy a phone and I'm told it's on loan, and I'm very comfortable paying $1,000 for it, and I know I'll be comfortable repaying that without any stretch or changing any of my lifestyle, then probably I'll go for that phone.
Great. So now we'll be moving on to group 4. Thank you so much, judges, for your input and your questions. Thank you, Stephen. And now on to group 4. So group 4, can you please get your slides up and your representative ready to start your presentation.
Oh, sorry, we're skipping group 3. Group 3 is coming after group 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello. So we're skipping them. No, we're not skipping them. All jokes aside. No, we're giving teams team 4, and we're keeping team 3 to the last. Because this team has been a little bit at a disadvantage. Their team member had to leave them, so they are a team of 3 people, and so we told them we will give you more time to prepare towards the end. So that's why they are going to be pitching towards the end. But now we're going straight to team 4.
And then judges, don't forget to use the link to vote for each team. So each time a new team comes, make sure you click the correct team.
Yeah.
Just to be on the safe. And then I think at the end, if any clarifications are needed from any judges, because I know the question time is very short, we can have a bit more Q&A. I know Blessings has been very strict. Even I was like, wait. So we can have like one last round where each judge asks whichever team was left hanging in their mind any question that they have.
Yeah.
Great. So Stephanie, are you ready?
Hello, could you, I think my document has an issue. I'm having a bit of a hard time opening it. Just give me a minute.
Take your time.
Just a minute.
Give me a second and let me see if I can get it up for you.
Kindly, if you could.
Okay, great. So let me just share this screen. Sorry, please bear with me. I'm just trying to find it now. So I don't know why it's not coming up.
Let me try again.
Please try.
In the meantime, do any of the judges have any question for the previous team? Because now we cut them off and we would have probably had a few questions here. I believe Mamoroke was going to ask them something.
Yes, I just wanted to understand, and firstly, the idea that was put forward is exciting, and one would want to understand better the finances of it. However, having not gotten to that part, I just wanted to appreciate, or at least for the team to help me appreciate, that cost of 44 per day, what is its proportionate to the expected income of the targeted market.
Okay, Stephen, that's your question.
The 4 shillings per day and the rates that we acquired on this presentation was for presentational purposes only. The affordable and the most actually cheapest rates in the market right now. So we were using that as opposed to going to the market actually to look for the right figures. So for me, I would say our target market is all the women, and we are looking at women not only on the low income side, we're also looking at women who would require to have, who would want to have a better or improve their maternal, general, and neonatal care So we are going to give them a solution through phone financing, which will come with the pre-installed app.
Okay, perfect. I think as long as that is the 4 shillings or whatever amount they pay per day is 10%, say, of their daily income, or 20%, I think that makes sense. Anything more than that would mean that they're taking a device beyond their means, I think is what Mamoroke is trying to say.
So I believe we're ready. So Stephanie, please.
Okay. Just put up the first slide and you could be helping me go to the next, right?
Okay.
So, so I'm going to begin. So this is team 4. And the approach that we have used is to first identify that there's a financial literacy problem, especially amongst women in Kenya, where the percentage of people who are financially literate, that is adults, it's only about 17%. And the comparison between men and women when it comes to financial literacy is it's within a range of 20%, whereby when it comes to, for example, taking certain financial decisions, women tend to be 20% less compared to their male counterparts. So the problem, therefore, is financial inclusion of women and being able to access mobile money transfer solutions, because given that they are not financially literate compared to their male counterparts. So the solution that we came up with is to be able to come up with a platform that can be installed with available 2G phones. We are using the 2G approach because there's also the identification that people in the low income tier might not be able to have access to the internet. So we are coming up with a platform, which is basically an inter-network USSD, which can be installed in 2G mobiles, what we commonly call kabambes, which is going to allow inter-network money transfers across networks, not just within one mobile money service mobile network operator. And also it's going to have a menu that's going to offer basic information on financial literacy. So the product description, basically it's a USSD that's going to be like a one click of a button that's going to allow you to have money transfer between the various networks that operate in Kenya, that is Safaricom, Airtel, and Telcom, because usually sometimes you see you can't be able to do that, especially kabambes come with only one slot for operation, but this particular USSD will allow you to access each and every platform without having to have a 2-SIM phone. And then also the other thing is that it's going to have an accessible menu for you to get to know basic things about financial literacy, investments, how to start and run a chama, and it's even going to have the opportunity to refer you to available financial institutions that can actually help you start up, save your money, etc. And so basically, those are the 2 things that are going to give our product a niche. The fact that it allows inter-network transfers, and also another thing, it's not just within the mobile network operators, it's also going to have a consolidation of the main banks that are in operations, that is the more popular banks like Equity, Cope Bank, and KCB, which are you're also able to transfer money between banks. So from phone to bank and bank to phone, from that, just by clicking that particular digit that you're going to dial. And then the next thing is that, of course, our customer profile, we are mainly targeting women of the low socioeconomic tier, both in urban and rural setting, and women-owned enterprises. The market approach, so for visibility, we are thinking of social media, websites. We are going to have a postal code. We're going to have local listings. We're going to have branded merchandise. You see people walking around with t-shirts, umbrellas, caps, capes, that are showing the products that we're going to use. And then the strategy is that we're going to go into where the women are in our villages, in our townships, word of mouth, marketing messages with which we're going to partner with the mobile service providers to reach out to those women to subscribe to this particular USSD, which is coming with a 2G handset. But if you already have a 2G handset, you can start using it, or if you have a smartphone, you can still use it as a USSD because it does not require internet. And then of course, we're going to use analytics and metrics to see how the market progress is going on. So the cost structure, the payment is prepaid cost per transaction, which is, we're going to use, sorry for that figure, the 0.25 cents is what the operator is going to charge us, but the people who are using this are going to pay 1 shilling per transaction. However, for larger businesses who want to pay upfront, they can subscribe within certain packages, which we're going to determine how much, and they can be able to do the transactions, let's say, throughout the month or throughout 2 months or a year, depending on the plan that you're going to come up with. And our costs are going to include maintenance of the USSD and also the salaries that are going to come through. The next thing is our operations. Of course, it's brokering of partnerships. We are looking out for banks that are going to be part of this particular product, the mobile network operators, premium rate service providers, and other potential institutions. Of course, we have departmental maintenance, implementations of the business systems and the SOPs, sorry, that's a D, SOPs, the standard operating procedures, hiring, etc. So for scalability, of course, we're thinking of market penetration. We want to identify, do you have a handset to begin with so that you can start using the USSD? If you don't, a 2G USSD handset can be provided by partnering with companies that are already doing that, and then installing our product. And then also we're going to diversify by, for example, eventually providing cloud computing services or consultation services. Also, we can come up with new product development whereby we actually build an application that.
All right, so thank you so much, Stephanie. That is time.
Savage, you're so savage.
It's time, I'm sorry, it's time, 6 minutes. We said 6 minutes in the beginning. So now on to
questions.
This time I'll give you guys more time to ask your questions. I'm so sorry. But yes, judges, any questions you have for Stephanie Aldi?
Yes, I do. Sorry to always butt in. I apologize. I have a comment and a question. The comment actually applies to this team as well as the previous teams and maybe to the next team as well. The marketing plans include use of social media and the internet, yet everyone has stated that the internet penetration is very low within the target market group. So I question the effectiveness of that form of marketing. Kind of pointless really if they don't have the internet. The question is simply this: M-Pesa has 99% share of mobile money in Kenya. How would you ever compete with M-Pesa?
So it's definitely a market that's already been established. But I think one of our added advantages to this particular USSD is the fact that we are also including the other mobile operators and also banks for certain transactions. For example, if they'd want to pay school fees for their children, they don't need to go queue in the bank or go to an agent. They can actually do that transfer within their phones using that particular USSD. So I think it's our niche is actually bringing on board other operators who are offering mobile money transfer solutions and not just M-Pesa on its own.
Is it Stephanie?
Yes, yes.
I'm inclined to agree with what Nazir said. You targeting people who are at the bottom end of the food chain in terms of mobile devices, and yet you're talking about doing stuff on social media. Secondly, Safaricom and other banks wouldn't let you do what you are planning to do because then you'd be cutting into their share of their margins. And I think as well, with all the teams, you guys have all kind of focused on the low end demographic, but you've actually missed the fact that a lot of Kenyan women, middle class, upper class, very good money, and none of you have actually catered to look at demographic, which actually could be a niche for you guys. Trying to offer a payment solution, which Safaricom has already, cannibalized the market to an extent that banks are even having issues, would be very challenging for you to launch. And Secondly, people in Kenya are used to a particular model, so why would they use your platform? They can pay for their school fees and other things using, you've got M-Pesa, you've got Fuliza, you've got all types of, you've got the KCB. KCB have launched their own platform as well. So what makes yours so unique?
Okay, thank you for that. I think the consolidation approach, one, and then secondly is the added advantage that we are actually targeting to also educate women through this particular platform about financial literacy, because we've noted that when it comes to issues financial literacy, our women are left out, you know, compared to our male counterparts. So it's other than the consolidated services within one particular platform, we are also reaching out to empower them on the knowledge that they're going to have still within the click of a button, the same menu. And then it's also acting as, I think we can work as a partner to these banks and everything, because when they get to know about savings, investments, and planning, and these banks are actually getting customers through our platform, because now they will be referred to their institutions, you know, to save up their money there, to start chama accounts, which are usually women groups. Yes.
I think you've got something which is incorrect. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought a few years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the government in Kenya actually pushed an initiative to put women through school, at least to the level, and that actually tipped the scale. So you've actually got more women in Kenya who are actually more educated than men. So I don't know where you're getting your statistics from in terms of the literacy in women is actually lower than men. I would argue that it's the other way around.
Well, perhaps if I could fetch the document, because it's a recent document and the compilation of most women empowerment groups, and it's still shown that on financial literacy, we still have women falling behind, and their risk-taking behavior when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's 17%, and their willingness to, for example, take credit for their businesses, it's lower compared to their male counterparts. So there's a certain hesitation to incur costs.
Have you looked at women in SACCOs?
Women in SACCOs.
Yeah.
We did not delve into that particular, but I think it's a good place to start with. Yes.
I would women in SACCOs before you give that statistic. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I would definitely look at that statistic. Thank you for that.
Right, let's take one more question from the judges.
A question as well, and it's kind of a question also to the other presenters. I cannot see the innovation, like the newness. I don't feel like I have seen anything new at all between the last three. So in a nutshell, for you then, Audi, and the question goes to the others as well to think about it. If you meet me in an elevator, I'm a big investor, I give you money, you have 10 seconds to tell me, why are you so innovative? Like, what is it? I can't see it, to be honest. You know, I like it. I like what you're saying, and I like the others as well to some extent, but it's just, where's the grain there? Why you, but like really, really aggressively tell me the innovation you see that I can't see.
Okay. Thank you for that. Well, I think also the challenge should be actually really evaluating the market on our side, something that we should have really also taken into consideration, because it seems like it's an already occupied market. I think maybe the niche should be perhaps the approach, doing it differently, making it more conversant to the communities. For example, one of our ideas when it came to the financial literacy was to make it available in the local languages of that place, and not necessarily in English and in Swahili, for those who might not be able to understand what it means to be financially literate. Yeah. And also being able to expand it eventually to become a platform that can be used by youth, young people, and it's also viable to be used as an application. Yeah, the product prospects later in the future. So maybe it's a different approach of doing it that would make it unique. Yeah.
I think Well, what you're saying, okay, that helps a bit. What I think you should then really, as a comment then, focus on is maybe just focusing on the language part to kind of like customize it to the language regions, because that does sound new to me, because all of the other things, as you said, have been done. So I think the language part of really customize it to, because Africa has so many different dialects and beautiful diversity within the language. I think that could be actually why you are different, but you need to be a bit more clear on it, because even just talking about it, you didn't sell it to me. You were just thinking while talking. So I think you just really need to, I think you should focus on that. I think that could be interesting.
Okay, the language. Thank you so much for that idea. Thank you. I've noted it down. Thank you.
All right, great. Now we'll be moving on to the last team, which is team 3. So if they're already ready, great. All right, so Caroline, please take the stage.
You can hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we are Haba and Haba Solutions, and we want to empower a young woman. So the problem that we actually found that is there in our country is that most pupils and students, they do not have access to the tools, the smartphones, the laptops, and we know as a country, Safaricom is trying to push for G, and it has to push for devices that can be able to access this access 4G. So, and we also, as we're expounding on that problem with our pupils and students not having smartphones and laptops, we actually went back home and we asked ourselves, most of our mothers, if you look at the devices they use, you will find our fathers have better devices than the mom. Or as also a young woman, when did you make the decision of having a phone or a laptop? You will find either somebody made that decision for you. Probably your dad said you will buy the device for you, or they made that active decision for you. So, and also the society has made women think that they do not really need the powerful device. As long as you can call, probably do WhatsApp. So so we found two problems, which is one, empowerment of knowledge and also access of these devices. So what Haba and Haba want to do is we want to face the two together. We want to change people's mindsets. We want to change the young women's mindset. And we also want to be able to push for the devices. So, and when we push for these devices, we also want to train people how to use the devices. We can do this through different models of training. Also, we want to be able to reward people that are doing something in society, to push the women, to push them to gain this, to gain the devices. Also, we also want to be able to give back to the society in a way that after we've done all this, we want to give back to the society. So how will we be able to do this? So we want to come up with a platform that marries these two together. So we have a platform that disseminates information about empowering a young woman, why you need that device, how to use how do you use this device. We can have people going into different forums in the kijijis and teach young women how to use these devices for them to actually make sense for you to have this device. So when we talk about device model, we were looking at students, and I want to focus you back now on devices. So we want to give a young student, a young pupil this device. So how do we ensure that we are not going at a loss and we are not getting burnt, or our money will come back. So we want to enable parents to come into the Lipa Pole Pole model, which is where we call ourselves Haba na Haba, which is slowly by slowly. So we want to enable our parents to buy these devices for the pupils while paying slowly. We also want to involve the ministry to sponsor this education and youth, and there's a great opportunity here for. We also saw during COVID time, people want to sponsor these things, but there's nobody who is willing to take up the challenge. And most of our students don't have these devices. So ministry will come in, we can look about help, how we can find a way of making it like a student loan and you integrate it with help. And also we can have people that donate. We have empowerment groups, organizations, and the community. They want to be able to, they are the ones that are able, they want to push for these ideas, like we can say Ariel for Africa. They can be able to do that for us. So how are we going to sell these things to our parents to buy? So we're gonna, in universities, when you go with these activations, when people are reporting to schools or when there's orientation, they're taken through this model. We can do it through social media because most of the students, they are already on social media and they know what is happening in social media. We can, the people we can partner with, for example, which are the bank, the Safaricom, and also the ministries, they're already doing something in this area. So when we partner with them for you to be able to get a device, that can be a plus for us. And then we can have sales champions. Our sales champions are our student ambassadors. So there's a research that was done that out of 1,000, there's an organization that does such a model called Keeper. Out of 1,000, let's say, students that you give these devices and you loan and they pay a monthly fee, only probably 10 of them will not be able to repay out of, let's say they dropped out of school, there's no school fees, or there's also death causes. So we found that there's this opportunity here for...
Sorry, Caroline, this is your 6 minutes and it is up. So now we will move on to the Q&A session. Please, Tessie.
Oh, sorry, my mic. I have some questions. I had good presentation. It was interesting, but I'm struggling to find a business plan. One, then maybe as comments, then the word devices came up a lot. So kind of like maybe what are we talking about? Is it phone? Is it tablets and all of that stuff? Then also financial literacy, maybe to kind of like define that a bit more. And it sounded to me like charity. It sounded like sponsorship package. There's a lot of, the collaboration and communicate. It's all beautiful. We need all of that as well. But this, to be honest with you, did not sound to me like a business plan. It sounded like a charity application, really, which is fine and beautiful. And I get that with, with the community work and getting money from the parents and from the schools and from the kitty groups, when you go to church and stuff like that. But it didn't, I'm lacking to see the business plan. So maybe in a nutshell, what is the business plan? How do you, how do you want
business plan? We want to focus on the student getting the laptop, because we've seen there is a lack of students not being able to get a laptop. So we want to be able to give a laptop to a student, and then they pay for that laptop slowly. It can be a laptop or a phone. So they will be able to pay for it slowly over a period of, let's say, 4 years, because let's say your course is a 4-year course. So we were calculating and we saw we have probably, those are 48 months you're in school. So if you're giving 1,000 every month, that is, at the end of 4 years, you'll have paid probably 48,000 for a laptop. So this, when you look at 48,000, that can buy you 2 laptops. So you're paying for, as you're paying 4 years, a 4-year span, you're paying for a laptop, your laptop, you're buying another laptop for the next, you'll buy another laptop for the next person. So if you give you a 24,000 worth laptop and we give you a 4-year payment plan, at the end of 4 years, you will have paid for probably 2 laptops or with a profit, because
the thing is also, 4 years for a laptop, that's a long time. And also, how do you get the initial investment? Will that be if you win here to buy these laptops, or where do these laptops come from in the first place? Anything else? It's not refined enough. I think you need to really think about it a bit more in detail, because technology nowadays, 4 years is a long time for a laptop. And so these questions would be nice if you can answer them.
Yeah, it also seems a little unfair that somebody has to pay 100% in interest, essentially, for a technology device. which is what you're basically saying. If they're basically funding the cost of their laptop plus another laptop, that's 100% interest, right? That seems a little unfair. There are obviously cheaper channels for people to acquire laptops. And ultimately, the big IT companies, the big computer manufacturers, device manufacturers are also trying to convince people to buy more laptops anyway. So there's opportunity there for getting them to sponsor if they're not already trying their best to sell to these minority groups anyway.
Okay. I can
Sorry, Caroline, quickly. Just to touch on Tessie's point, as she said, it sounds like you guys are selling a charity here as opposed to a business. Secondly, no one's going to take a laptop for 4 years. Let me just stop you there. It's not going to happen. The speed at which mobile phones and tablets come out in Kenya right now is about 6 weeks, 6 to 12 weeks. That's the speed at which new models come out. So your likelihood is that all your guys are going to default because you're holding them for 4 years. So I think the only thing else I'll comment on is I think you had something when you were looking at the students and the loans which they take. Did you say it was with Kiba?
Help.
Or Help. So I think that's maybe something that you should look into, but I don't think anyone's going to take a laptop or any device for 4 years because generally, because of the data penetration in Kenya, most people want the latest devices, and the data here is quite quick compared to other African countries. So the speed at which people are changing their devices is quite rapid. So no one's really going to hold on to a device for 4 years.
For the Kenyan students, I think for most of us, for most of Kenyan students, they usually end up paying for these devices over a long period of time. You get into a partnership where you're given the laptop, and then over your course, you pay for it. And then probably if you want to upgrade or upscale, you can do a trade-in and then get the next device. That is how we are thinking on the lines of that. And for 100% profit, we can say probably a very slight percentage on 0%.
Can I just ask a question? What mobile device do you have now?
Currently, and
Yeah.
yes, and I have an iPhone 7 and another Android phone.
Did you have that phone 4 years ago?
No, but...
Did you have it 3 years?
Pardon?
Did you have the phone 3 years ago?
Well, I was in campus, yes. I maintained a phone for 3 years, roughly.
Okay. So you didn't have it for 4 years?
No.
So if you had the opportunity to upgrade to a phone every year, would you?
Yes, I would.
So why would you want someone to hold on to a device for 4 years? Especially with how technology is changing every day.
Yeah, true. That's a good question, yes. But you can do a trade-in. We can do trade-ins for you to upgrade. But most Kenyans, most students, yes, they do hold on to devices for almost 4 years. The ones that are less privileged, you give them a good device, they can hold on to it for 4 years.
Okay, and say students in private universities like USIU or Strathmore?
We are not looking at private universities, or we want to go to environments where these people they don't have access to these devices, and it's hard for them to get access to these devices. So how do we empower that person to actually come up and own a device from not having a device?
All right, let's move on to deliberations and cut this Q&A now. So what I'll do is place the judges, give them some time, about 30 minutes for them to deliberate on their results and all their thoughts. I'm going to put them in a breakout room right now. So please bear with me and accept the request that I'm sending out now. Oh, sorry, please stop. My bad. Let me start this breakout room. Okay, great. And during these 30 minutes, wow, 14 seconds left before the judges come back in. So if you guys are ready, get prepared in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Please bear with me. They should be joining soon. Next 60 seconds, my bad. I think they're gradually joining now. Let me just quickly check where they are.
That was quick. Hi, Blessings. Thank you for that. Thank you. So hi, everyone. Hope that you're doing well. First, I would like to thank all the judges for all of their feedback and thoughts, and for their time. I would like to thank Tessie and her partner in absentia, Nasir, Mamoroke, Just, Edwin, Ayo. I believe I've mentioned everyone, and I'd like to thank them for their collaboration, their time. They will probably, most likely, if they're available, be the very same judges that will see the end pitch, right, in December. Because now they've seen all of the participants in the beginning, they would be the ones to give feedback at the end of the 6 weeks. For all of the teams, we know that this was a very high pressure situation. You guys didn't have a lot of time. It was a lot to get done in like a short span of time. But based on what I've seen, there's good potential based on your ideas. That's what the 6-week program is here for, you know. A lot of you have not necessarily had entrepreneurial background, and yet we're trying to make you both a corporate leader, but then still an entrepreneur. And that's why it's called Jenga Boss, which means we need to build you. So if you were perfect, we wouldn't need to build you. We would just send you out, you know, and just be like, okay, go set it up. But now that you're coming to us, this is your opportunity to be built. So yeah, that's what the 6-week program is going to be for, just to build you out as leaders, as innovators, and as people as you go forward. So based on the pitches that were given, right, and the ideas that were sold, right, the judges have chosen to go with teams 1, 2, 3. Team 2 was a favorite. So team 2, I believe led by Stephen, was a top favorite team along all the judges, simply because they saw how much strength the idea would have in the market. The judges also really enjoyed the financial literacy piece of the other team. What team was that? And finally, the help piece, right? That team, I believe that was team 3. That team 3 delivered. So team 1 talked about, was it team 1? I believe, on financial literacy as well. So the judges thought that was very useful. So this is what we're going to do, right? Team 1, 2, 3, you're going on to the 6-week program where your idea will be taken apart. It might not be the same at the end. It might be something completely different, but you will be taken on the basis of that idea. And what we're working to do is to allow it to evolve. It might become something completely new, or it might be along the same lines, only more clear, more distinct, and with greater weight. For Team 4, we saw a lot of potential, especially in terms of the leader, right? And the pitching that was done. And we do not want to lock you out because we see that you have great potential. So if you feel that you want to go on to the program, the Jenga Boss program, let us know, because we will create room for you, even if it is to allow you to collaborate with either of the 3 teams of your choice. So you can enter, collaborate, and help out in any of the 3 teams that you believe you would be comfortable with doing. But essentially, that is our result. Stephanie, I don't know if this is something that you and your team would consider.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. I'm not sure if this is something that you and your team would consider.
I think I would personally. And I would love to plug in with Team 1. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so we already know Stephanie is going to Team 1. So each of the participants in Team 4 can let us know which team they would want to plug into, just because it's a team with very good people. There was some things that were off in the general idea. So the idea was not going in a sustainable direction that we felt a full team could pursue throughout the 6-week program. So that is our feedback. Blessings over to you.
All right, thank you so much. So the judges, we really appreciate you sacrificing your time to be here, as well as the participants who sacrificed almost 5 hours to be here as well. Right now, I just want to say thank you to everyone, and I will hand over to Ferouz, who will round up everything with her final remarks, and we'll let you go shortly after that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So in terms of results and where we will go, where do we take it from here? So Team 1, Faith, Humphrey, Eunice, Michelle, Valerie. Team 2, Stefan, Harriet, Phyllis, Sauda. Team 3, Caroline, Daving, and Halaku, and Mary. These 3 teams and these members of these 3 teams have progressed to the Jenga Boss program, the 6-week. It will be starting on Monday with the orientation. You will be sent over all the details for how you will join in and the whole program tonight after the end of this hackathon program. And you will be taken through a 6-week program where it will be intensive, where it will be demanding, and each one of you will be trained on your respective roles. But at the same time, you will also you will be also working in teams, and you will be coached on leadership with our amazing leadership coach, Mary Sankovska, which is an internationally certified coach, and she will help you build the leadership skills that you need to have as executives. But we will also take you through how you then are able to build your revenue model, your entire business model, revenue model, sales strategy, marketing strategy, operational strategy, building your entire business idea. How do we make it innovative? How do we make it scalable? How do we make it feasible? How do we make it sustainable? All of that will be taking you through with our amazing mentors and guest speakers that will be joining us throughout the 6-week program. And at the end of it, again, we will find ourselves in the same position like today, where the 3 teams will head against each other again, to see which one will be winning, to set up the company, and to go ahead and secure those positions as C-levels leaders in that company. That's what the next step will look like for all of our participants that have won today. And of course, the people and members from Team 4, again, we really thank you for participating today. You did amazing with the amount of hours that you had at your hand. You were able to do something with it, and you should be proud of yourself. And like Edith said, do contact us into which team you would like to be plugged in, and we will make sure we assist you in that regard. because we want to build each one of you to become a boss and a leader. As a final remark, I just simply want to take each single one of our judges. Thank you so much. You're in different time zones, in different places of the world, but you still made time for us, and really we are privileged to be in your presence. And you have roasted, I'm going to say this, you have roasted the teams today, okay? I was sweating on their behalf. I was like, what is this? But you did amazing. I think it was the beginning of the mentorship. I think that's how a real mentorship and coaching should be done. You ask questions to the people so that they can get thinking, and that they can start realizing where they did wrong, where they can do better. So thank you so much for asking them those questions. And it is a really good starting point for the mentorship, and it's what they should be expecting in the coming 6 weeks, because that's how they will be roasted. And so thank you so much, our judges. Thank you once again. And we can't wait to see you again on the second round of the competition, to see the fruition of the mentorship and of our amazing participants. And for our participants, thank you from application to interview and to participating today, for working under pressure with a team that you've never seen before, with people that you've never met before, with a team that I don't even think you've had the chance to introduce yourself to, and to just be put in that and to be given only 2 hours to build something. You did amazing, okay? So props to you, really well done. And we are proud of each one of you. And we do see a real big potential in becoming great leaders, to build something really cool for Africa, and to also be not only business leaders, but job creators. Thank you once again to my amazing co-founder, Edith Njage, who has helped facilitate all of this from the beginning, from the ideation stage of this whole Jenga Boss Hackathon program and the whole program, and for inviting our amazing judges and for helping facilitate today. And thank you, Blessings, for moderating today, for organizing everything, the Hackathon Day, the program that's going to come in the 6th week, and for making sure everything is running well, and for making sure all emails are sent in time. So thank you so much. Everything doesn't go unnoticed. I will wish you a lovely Saturday evening for the ones that we are in London, evening for the ones that we are in Kenya, day maybe for the ones that are on the Pacific timings. Thank you once again, and we can't wait to see you for our judges on the next round of the competition, and for our participants on Monday. Do come.